Antonio Esfandiari, the big one defending champion, is gone in 10th place. Tobias Rankemeyer folds pocket aces, and Seaver shows the bluff. Welcome back to Las Vegas for the World Series of Poker Big One for One drop. 42 players bought in for $1 million each, and now just 3 remain. Christoph Vogelsang, Daniel Coleman, and Kid Poker Daniel Negreanu. Hi everyone, Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. The mothership is full at the Rio, waiting for three-handed play to begin.
We should both bow.
This is fun playing poker on the stage, you know?
Christoph Vogelsang is making a name for himself in just his first World Series tournament.
He already has a name for himself, Christoph Vogelsang. It's on his birth certificate, jeez.
23-year-old Daniel Coleman made a late surge and is comfortably in second.
But he won't talk to me. Heck, a lot of people won't talk to me. What's the big deal?
And there's Daniel Negreanu, one of the game's biggest stars, looking to become poker's all-time earnings leader.
Kid Poker talks to everybody. Frankly, sometimes I just have to walk away from him. I've got other things to do.
The last amateur in the field, Rick Solomon, went out in fourth, leaving this trio to divvy up the remaining $28 million in prize money. Daniel Coleman with 9-5 off calls. Negreanu makes the call. Christoph Vogelsang in the big blind with Jack-5 of diamonds.
Rick Solomon finished fourth in the big one. Tobias Rankemeyer, Scott Seaver, Paul Newey, and Kerry Katz also were at this final table. We are down to 3 pros.
Vogelsang checks his option. The blind's at $500,000 and $1 million. The ante is $150,000. All 3 will see this flop. 4-6-6. Everybody misses. Jack high is best for Vogelsang. Negreanu checks, as does Vogelsang.
Boy, 3-handed Jack high flops a hand that will win 67% of the time. What on earth is going on?
They all check. 9 of clubs, 2 pair now for the Daniels. Negreanu's kicker would play. And Negreanu will bet $2 million. Vogelsang folds.
Yeah, Coleman also hit the 9, but he can't win this hand at showdown. They both have 9s and 6s, but Negreanu with the better kicker. And there still are a lot of ways in which they would chop this pot.
And there is the call from Daniel Coleman. $7.5 million in the middle. 10 of clubs, a better 2 pair for Negreanu.
4 clubs on the board, Lon, but neither player smart enough to have a club in his hand.
Daniel Negreanu seems to be pretty confident with his better 2 pair, even though he doesn't have the club, and puts out $3 million, and Coleman folds immediately. Negreanu's girlfriend on the left, Marissa, sitting with Jen Harmon, Daniel's good friend.
Negreanu looking for his 7th World Series bracelet, which would tie him for 7th all-time with Billy Baxter and Men to Master win.
3 different chips in plays. The purples are good to have, worth $250,000 each. The yellow, $100,000. The brown, $25,000 each. Take all the chips and you win that $15.3 million. Negreanu with King 5 off and limps. He limps for $1 million. Vogelsang folds.
Check.
Coleman in the big blind with ace-9, and he checks his option.
Coleman a heads-up online specialist. Negreanu a life specialist.
Another cheap flop, but only 2 will join in. Tray 4-5, top pair for Negreanu. Coleman picked up a wheel draw. Coleman checked.
Great board for Negreanu's hand.
$1.5 million from Negreanu.
Coleman contemplating if his ace high is still good. It would be a lot of the time.
23-year-old from outside Boston makes the call. Turn card now 6 of spades. Negreanu's pair of 5s still ahead, despite the straight draw on board. Coleman checked again. Negreanu checks.
Not sure why Negreanu checked behind there. I would have fired.
River card deuce of clubs. Well, the best hand is on the board with a 6-high straight. Coleman now reaching for chips.
Yeah, it looks like Coleman confident Negreanu doesn't have a higher straight than the board, so he's going to take a shot at buying this pot.
Remember those purple chips I talked about? Coleman has a bunch of them, $15 million.
He bets $15 million into a $6 million chip pot. Remember, Negreanu checked the turn, so Coleman confident he can rep a 7 and buy the pot here, but I don't think Kid Poker's going to buy it.
If I say I have a straight, that's okay, right? I can say that. I have it straight.
You can't open the action back up to it if you start.
I have the straight. I'm just gonna fold. Good hand.
He gives it up.
I think I had you before that. I mean, I think I get half, but I think I had you on the flop.
I had a straight too.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Throughout this event, Daniel Coleman has been evasive, not wanting to talk to the media. He agreed to talk to us about the charity component of the big one.
Usually when playing poker, you're starting to make money for yourself. It's pretty great, this event. It's able to raise over $5 million to get clean water to people that just don't have it. You know, most people watching this, you're in your nice TV, in your nice living room with just a life of luxury, you know? Some people just don't have clean water, just the essential, the basics, you know? So it's pretty great we're able to raise money to get that to people.
Well, Coleman has ambivalent feelings about poker and taking other people's money. In this case, it's nice that some of the money goes to charity.
Speaking of money, big money for third place, $4.4 million, and then almost $4 million more for second. Negreanu with a raise to $2.25 million on the button with King 10. Vogelsang with King Jack.
Vogelsang had ambivalent feelings about that scarf pocket T combo, but went with it anyway. Vogelsang's family owns a farm in Germany, so he has traded working in the field for working on the felt.
All in.
Vogelsang, who had taken some hits to his stack, is all in for almost $9 million to Negreanu.
Not a big percentage of Negreanu's stack.
Call.
Okay, shakes his head, and
Good
so
luck.
now Negreanu trying for yet another knockout, but he's dominated here.
Need a 10. We haven't had many bad beats yet. You notice that?
That hand's always held.
Yeah, it's not gonna this time.
Gonna flip the script.
A huge pay jump for the remaining players if the bad beat comes. Vogelsang at risk. Negreanu looking for knockout number 5 on this final table. All right, here's the flop. Queen, ace, 8. That gives both players Broadway draws. Vogelsang's kicker is still good, though.
He wants a jack now. Or diamond, diamond. It's a fun flop.
Not a good one though for you,
It's all right.
because like you're outside the crease because of the jack. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course.
You'll
What are
take an
diamonds?
8.
8?
Yeah.
Ooh, an 8.
Yeah.
I'll take an 8. 8s with an ace, king, queen. Woohoo! Chop it up.
Turn card.
Diamond! Oh, full sweat.
Negreanu adds a flush draw.
Vogelsang still ahead, but Negreanu now can knock him out with a jack or a diamond on the river.
A 5, 8, 5, 8, 10, diamond, jack, you name it. Any one of those. Oh, not the 10, the jack. Okay. He wants a 10.
They can still chop it. The percentages only reflect the chance of winning the hand outright. And there's another
Chop
5.
it up, chop it up.
And they will
Chop
split
it.
it.
Chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. Too many
It
outs,
feels like
too
a
many
win
outs.
to Negreanu.
Yeah, bad break for Vogelsang. They both have a pair of 5s, ace, king,
What do you
queen.
want there?
2, and then 50.
Could be worse on the river.
Could have been worse rivers, right?
yeah, I mean like it comes as it comes, right? And
Yeah.
there's nothing deserved to us.
No double for Vogelsang. We're still three-handed over $15 million waiting for a winner. The 2014 World Series of Poker Big One for One Drop is dealt by the WSOP social game on Facebook and mobile. Sit and go tournaments are starting right now. Are you in? Back in Las Vegas for the Big One for One Drop. $15.3 million for first place. When poker players spend a lot of time in London, it's usually to follow one of the poker tours. That was not the case for Christoph Vogelsang.
I always loved going to university. I went to London, to the London School of Economics to do a master in risk and finance. And I think finance and poker are similar in that it's in some way like an academic challenge where you try to figure out what is the right strategy, what is the right game theoretical approach. Now that I play only poker and I don't go to university anymore, I think it's actually something I missed, so I felt it was a really good balance, and I always enjoyed going to uni.
Not sure what they teach at the London School of Economics, but if it has anything to do with how to cash in $1 million buy-in tournament in your first World Series event, I expect applications to be up this year.
Indeed. Coleman with a button, an 8-7 of hearts, and an open raise to $2 million. Negreanu folds to the big blind. Vogelsang, the German pro, looks down at 10-6.
Predictably, Vogelsang's favorite magazine is The Economist. Not as predictably, he's been a Latin tutor, so that's at least 4 languages he speaks: German, English, Latin, and poker.
He needs $1 million to call, and 4 purple chips will do it. So heads up, Coleman and Vogelsang. Vogelsang with his 10-6 off is ahead right now. Here is the flop. 7, Jack 7 ahead no longer. Trip 7s for Coleman.
Vogelsang with the dreaded less than 1% sign. I wonder if they cover that at the London School of Economics.
Well, the only good news is that he missed the flop. Maybe he can get off cheaply.
Well, they both check. Coleman decided to slow play his monster because Vogelsang doesn't have a big stack, wants to lure him in.
3rd spade on the turn. Vogelsang now officially drawing dead. Mark it, Norman.
Got it, sir.
Vogelsang first to act.
And Vogelsang picking a bad time to try and pick up the pot. I think he's going to get squadouched with his squadouche.
2 3/4 million. And Coleman says, thank you very much.
Coleman, by the way, lived in Rio de Janeiro a while playing online and has studied Portuguese, but he's still way behind Vogelsang in the language game.
Made money in Rio, now making big money here at the Rio. 3-handed play, big money awaits all. Just a call from Coleman.
And I don't know what language it was in, but Vogelsang just uttered a bad word in his head.
Well, that hits Vogelsang and could be painful if he's not careful.
Coleman has played this hand brilliantly.
Vogelsang bet the turn after missing, hits the river, and now checks.
Coleman hoping Vogelsang has a piece of that board so he can call a bet here.
Coleman with trip 7s on the flop. Reaching for those big purple chips. And that's enough to put Vogelsang all in.
A great bet.
He turned ace queen, ace king into a bluff. I rim at 10.
Yeah, Coleman might bet here with nothing because he knows Vogelsang might not want to call off the rest of his chips.
Check behind the flush draw. F7.
And Vogelsang knows that Coleman knows that, so Vogelsang might call this.
It is for his tournament life. Vogelsang short stacked.
You know that I would German jack for value, so now you know I don't have anything to call you with, so you turn.
There is the fold.
Nice hand then.
Coleman will take it after that big flop. Vogelsang left with near nothing.
I had 8-7.
You had it. Thank you for telling me.
Coleman tells the truth.
Happy I didn't call it off. Now I need flipping skills.
Yeah, right.
Daniel Coleman strengthens his hold on first place here at the Big One for One drop. It's been a very competitive event, and with good reason. The first place prize is the 2nd biggest ever, just behind the 2012 Big One for One drop. And if Negreanu finishes in the top 2, he becomes the game's all-time earnings leader.
He would surpass Antonio Esfandiari at #1. The Magician, of course, largely on top due to his $18 million score at the first Big One.
The blind's up to 600,000, 1.2 million. Coleman under the gun with King Queen.
By the way, our producer, Dan Gotti, thinks Coleman resembles Michael Phelps. Yay or nay, Lon?
I don't know. Dan works a lot of hours, but there is a similarity there. Coleman with the raise, Negreanu with pocket 5s.
The striped suit, checkered shirt ensemble is growing on me, actually.
Negreanu knows how to dress for a winner photo. He calls for 1.8 million. Vogelsang now in the big blind, ace-4 of spades.
He's like, oh, yum, yum.
Most of his chips are in the middle with the blind and ante. And now all in the middle.
I think it's actually a raise. It's more than 50%.
Coleman calls.
Triple up opportunity.
Well, not until Negreanu puts more chips in. There they are.
So a two-man posse will try to hunt down Vogelsang.
Yeah, tough duty for Christoph here, having to beat two players. Deuce 6-8, Negreanu still leads.
Check.
Check, check.
No reason for either to bet.
Turn card. Another 6. Negreanu's still best.
Check.
Check, check.
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 Fives.
That's winning.
Daniel with another knockout.
Good game.
Good game, bud.
And Christoph Vogelsang makes quite a splash in his World Series of Poker debut.
And he will head out into the 110-degree night with a scarf and $4.4 million.
Heads up for $8 million.
Vogelsang had a tough road to hoe against these two monster stacks. And now what seemed inevitable is a reality. Negreanu and Coleman heads up for $15.3 million and the Richard Mille design bracelet. This is going to be a good one. Welcome back to the Rio. We are heads up here at the big one. A contrast in styles, a contrast in personalities. 23-year-old Daniel Coleman and 39-year-old Daniel Negreanu.
I can't do math in this
Yeah,
level.
right. I wonder if a couple years ago you thought you'd be playing for $7 million.
Yeah, right? No chance.
One flip.
$7 million, the difference between first and second place.
And speaking of money, with the guaranteed $8.3 million, Daniel Negreanu is now the all-time live poker tournament money leader.
I'll raise for you.
Negreanu with 8-5 off. Will raise to $2.5 million. Coleman with ace-queen of clubs.
In 2013, Coleman said he doesn't see poker as a sustainable source of income a few years down the road. It's like a gold rush, he said. I might as well make good use of it.
And he's putting together a re-raise with that big hand.
7.5.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No. $7.5 million is what Coleman made it.
Shooting the angles already, huh? No. What do we got? 5 more?
Negreanu folds.
That was good. Ace queen suited. I should have used that in limp.
Yeah, right.
I went the other way. Level. Like, oh, I'm still raising after I know
Sorry
he's
about
raising.
that.
That's okay. I get it. It's
Poker players often talk about sailing off into the sunset. Not often do they get that opportunity, but $15 million will get you pretty darn close to that sunset.
That'll build a very nice raft. And all that money and the watch sitting just off the poker table. Coleman, ace tray off suit.
Negreanu has a lifetime of poker experience, but in this specific format, heads up, not too deep stacked, I'd imagine Coleman is a favorite.
Raised to $3 million. A reminder, the small blind, also the button, acts first pre-flop and second post-flop. Queen 9 of clubs for Negreanu, and he will call for $1.8 million more.
Negreanu spent most of the summer playing mixed game bracelet events at this World Series, so he's a little rusty at No Limit Hold'em, but it's like riding a bike.
Jack 6-9, couple of diamonds. Only Negreanu gets a taste of that with middle pair. They both check. A tray, that pairs Coleman. You love to hit the board heads up, but he has to be careful here. Negreanu with $5 million slid into the middle. And Coleman with a stack of purple. That's also $5 million. 5 of diamonds. No help to Coleman. Negreanu is best.
And Negreanu is going to fire again, looking for some value. His hand's got showdown value, so I thought he might check it because he doesn't want to get raised off of it.
Daniel Negreanu two-handedly puts in $9 million.
Coleman wondering if Negreanu is posturing.
The early stages of a heads-up event, so important to try to get a read on your opponent. And Coleman will fold.
Negreanu inches closer to Coleman.
Negreanu now sitting with almost 61 million chips. A nice pot for him. His persona off the felt is a welcome sight for poker fans everywhere.
well, without poker fans, this doesn't really happen. So it's worth it. It makes sense to take time to speak to them, give them an experience. A lot of them may be flying in or driving from like who knows where, and they just want that one picture or one autograph, and it doesn't take too long to do that. I think the best part of it is the ability to make a difference in the world. You know, so if you have a platform, you have an audience. You know, social media today, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, I can get the message out, you know, the positive message. I like to help people. I'm financially stable. I'm in a good place. I love the game of poker. But I see a lot of these young guys making mistakes in terms of where they're headed with their life, and I feel like somewhat of a responsibility to be a role model for them.
I'll say this, I asked Daniel for an autograph and was rebuffed. Maybe that's because he knew I was going to put it on eBay.
Well, you got to do something because yours doesn't sell on eBay. I know that.
Good for you.
Negreanu with King 10 offsuit. A raise to $2.5 million. Coleman, Queen Jack of Hearts, wants to come along.
You know, in the history of the big one, Lon, there has never been an American-born winner.
Interesting. Antonio was not born here, born in Iran. Jack, ace, ace. Coleman pairs his jack for aces up. Negreanu's turn to act, as you see by the yellow bar around his name, and he does bet $3 million.
I like that bet.
Coleman has to like his hand. And there's the call.
I like that call. I like it even more than I like the bet.
Turn card now. 9 of clubs, no change. Coleman still best, and he checks again. Negreanu checks back. Will accept the free card. River card is bingo. Negreanu scores Broadway. Coleman improves as well, now with aces and queens. Chips in hand. A healthy bet. $7 million from Coleman.
Negreanu bet with the worst of it on the flop. Coleman bets with the worst of it on the river.
Negreanu now with the best of it. And that looks like
17.
a raise. He says $17 million.
And I don't think Coleman was expecting that. And now the 23-year-old sizing up his elder. Is he bluffing?
King 10.
That's scary if you're this Daniel.
He sizes up pretty well.
It's a crazy bluff. Should never fold here.
What would Olivier do? I think he'd shave and then fold.
All right. Guess you have King 10.
What's that?
What a fold from Daniel Coleman. What a call of the cards.
Yeah, Daniel won the pot, but he got Danieled by Coleman, who calls out his hand and makes the correct fold.
Yo.
Negreanu has taken over the chip lead here at the big one, but he better be careful. Daniel Coleman has a pretty good read on him. A lot of money at stake tonight. More than $7 million difference between first and second. During the break, Negreanu tweeted that he's heads up for bracelet number 7. Seems like just yesterday, Norman, he had only 4. He's been on fire of late.
He's in the running for World Series Player of the Year again. When he won it in 04, he had a bracelet, 5 final tables, and 6 cashes. When he won it last year, 2 bracelets, 4 final tables, and 10 cashes. This year, no bracelet for Negreanu, but 2 final tables, and this is his 8th top 25 finish.
Coleman with ace-jack and a raise to $2.5 million. Negreanu with the chip lead of about $18 million, but the pots are so huge at this stage, 25 to 35 million. Neither satisfied until they have all the chips. Negreanu with King 7 re-raises to $7.5 million. And there is the call from Coleman.
A big one brewing at the big one.
Heads up, the King 7 favored against most hands, but not against ace-jack. Bad timing by Negreanu. Deuce trade deuce. Coleman still ahead.
Negreanu hoped to take it down pre-flop. Now he has to play a big pot out of position. And it looks like he's going to attempt to represent a big pair here.
Can he chase the 23-year-old off with $9 million?
When Coleman won the EPT Grand Final Super High Roller in Monte Carlo earlier this year, he beat Dan Cates heads up, and his mentor, Olivier Bousquet, finished 8th.
And $9 million from Coleman, who will stick around.
Well, Coleman has proven to be sticky, and usually he's right when he's sticky. Look at this pot. More than a quarter of the chips in play in the middle.
Turn card now. 8 of diamonds. No straights or flushes out there. Coleman still best. Negreanu checks.
God, I thought he would fire out one more time there to see if he could shed Coleman.
They both check. River card now. 10 of diamonds, both miss. Ace high still best with the deuces on board for Coleman.
King high.
Ace jack.
And ace high will win it.
Coleman's got the game. He's no pretender.
Both showed strength early in the hand. Negreanu couldn't pull the trigger that may have avoided a showdown, and Coleman takes the pot. We've noted that Coleman has refused to speak to the media during the big one. We asked some of poker's media-savvy pros to weigh in on this refusal.
There's a spectrum of players that don't do interviews, and then there's the reasons why.
I'm not mad at Daniel Coleman for declining interviews, but yes, ESPN and all these companies have provided an avenue for him to make money, so the least he can do is be gracious.
When you go into playing the one drop and you know that it's much bigger than yourself, it's for a really amazing cause.
I think that if anyone has an opportunity to help other poker players evolve poker and make people more aware of its benefits, then I think they should.
The fact that Daniel Coleman is saying, I don't want to do an interview for the one drop because I don't want to promote poker, wow. The people that don't make it in poker, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that don't make it in the NFL. And so that's a real tough world if you're trying to get the top of football, if you're trying to get the top of basketball. You know, getting to the top, you have to understand that there's millions of people that love that game that don't make it. The same thing in poker.
When I won that tournament, it was a pleasure to represent poker as much as I could.
I don't agree with his decision, but I do think that it's like a free country, right?
Whatever his rationale, it is his decision. It's not the end of the world. Maybe he's got nothing to say. Plus, as I know all too well myself, better to remain silent and be thought the fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Well, he has done interviews in the past, and I think we're just seeing a 23-year-old who's trying to figure out who he is, what he stands for, and at that age, the answers tend to shift pretty rapidly. Negreanu with Jack-8 on the button. The chip lead has swung back to Coleman again. Negreanu with a raise to $2.5 million. Coleman with 9 trade.
Maybe Coleman will become the Howard Hughes of poker. Billionaire, reclusive, living in a hotel room. Hughes probably sat on his butt watching Jeopardy all day. Coleman will be playing Sid and Goes Online.
Coleman with the re-raise. Gotta love his poker creativity with 9 trade. Makes it $8 million.
So it's 8?
Now Negreanu. He's already got $2.5 million in. There's the call.
$16.5 million in the pot already. 9 tray against Jack-8.
I love these classic heads-up battles. All right, here's the flop. 8 deuce tray, middle pair for Coleman, top pair for Negreanu.
Check.
Check from Coleman.
And top pair against middle pair heads up usually means the pot will grow even more.
As you mentioned, already almost $16.5 million in there. Negreanu bets $10 million.
By the way, when Negreanu won his first bracelet in 1998, he was partially staked by Todd Brunson. Brunson's girlfriend at the time was Jen Harmon, who Daniel met and then became close friends with. And of course, tonight, she's on the rail for him.
Jen Harmon sitting just behind Daniel Coleman in the pink back there. And Coleman makes the call of $10 million. And look at that pot, Norman.
$36 million plus.
9 tray versus Jack-8. Love heads up. Queen of spades, an overcard to both hands. Coleman checks again.
All in.
Negreanu shoves for over $30 million.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, you're not alone, and Coleman lets his hand go. Negreanu will stack the winnings, and the crowd here at the Rio predominantly in Kid Poker's corner.
Look who's on top again.
With over 54% of the chips, Daniel Negreanu is the leader.
Semi-bluff?
What's that?
Semi-bluff?
I'll tell you later if you want. I'll tell you every hand. I don't care. Right?
Yeah, no, same here if you have any.
Yeah. I know you got one that you want to know.
Yeah, there's one.
Ace, queen, hand.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You gotta know that one.
Daniel Negreanu back in the lead here at the big 1-for-1 drop. More after this. We are heads up at the Rio, 15.3 million for first, over 8 million for second. Daniel Coleman and Daniel Negreanu.
It's a fun match.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been action so far.
Yep.
Had some fun pots. So we're not that deep, so it's like any hand could be it. If you get queens, I get jacks, then I might do it. Jack on the flop.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, both these guys once worked as dishwashers. Negreanu, in fact, was a food service industry force, dishwasher, busboy, sandwich artist at Subway, even worked a salad bar. Of course, now he's a vegan.
A raise to 2.5 million from Negreanu with king 9 off. Coleman with queen 7 of spades. And he's the one with the shorter stack right now, about 10 million chip disadvantage to Negreanu, and he calls for $1.3 million more. Chip lead heads up has changed more often than Rick Solomon has changed wives. Here's the flop. Ace, king, deuce, 1 spade. Coleman coming up way short. Negreanu with a pair of kings. They both check. 5 of diamonds on the turn. As you can see, Coleman drawing dead now. A check from both. River card now, 6 of spades.
Check.
If they're going to check it down, they might as well just open up a dishwasher school together.
Negreanu reaching for chips now, though.
That's 3.5.
$3.5 million after Coleman had checked.
$3.5 million on that board. Check, check. Then a river bet by Negreanu. Coleman might think queen high is good. I mean, it's possible he figures Negreanu's betting because his hand is so bad it can't win its showdown.
Coleman looks into Negreanu's eyes and calls.
King.
Pair of kings is good.
Kid poker, sneaky good there. You know, Lon, I've been losing my hair for a while. Maybe when I'm asleep, Daniel comes in and steals it.
Daniel Negreanu now over 74 million chips. The leader heads up against Daniel Coleman. What a battle we have seen. We know Daniel Negreanu was one of the best of the game, and now we're learning lots about Daniel Coleman and his heads-up talents. 42 players bought in for $1 million each. Most of that money will be handed out to these final 2. Coleman first to act, Jack 6, a raise to $2.5 million. Pocket jacks for Negreanu.
Incidentally, when Negreanu won his first scoop title on Poker Stars last year, a 5K PLO, he told Card Player magazine he was naked, played the entire event without any clothes on.
TMI. A re-raise from Negreanu will take that hand, and Negreanu is full speed ahead right now.
You know, and I'm wondering now, Negreanu is doing better here at this $1 million one drop than he did at the Millionaire Matchmaker on Bravo last year. Maybe he would have been better served on Millionaire Matchmaker if he played that whole baby naked.
So much of heads-up play is a mental game, readjusting your strategy constantly, counter-attacking with a prayer your opponent will fold. It's the best part of a great game, I think. Negreanu with ace-queen, with his clothes on.
Raise to 2.5.
A raise to $2.5 million. Coleman with an ace, ace-8. And there's a call. The flop. Jack 9, Jack 2 hearts, both miss. Negreanu's ace queen a big favorite. Coleman checked. Negreanu bets $2.5 million again.
Coleman is sticky with an ace.
But he is dominated here. Negreanu with that ace queen. And there's a call from Daniel Coleman.
Yeah, usually an ace is good in this spot, heads up. But as you say, Negreanu has him outkicked.
Turn card. Another jack. Negreanu still way ahead. Another check from Coleman. Negreanu again reaching for the purple chips. $4 million worth.
Negreanu confident he's got the best hand. Coleman just hanging on. And of course, if ace high was good on the flop, it's still good on the turn.
Coleman likes his ace, and he makes the call.
If Negreanu takes down this pot, his chip lead will be more than 2-1 on Coleman.
River card now is an 8, pairing Coleman to take the lead. He checks.
Okay, check.
11-8.
Wow, he got there on the river.
Sticky, sticky, lucky.
Wow, nice turn bet.
Yeah, good hand.
Very unlucky for Negreanu.
I was like, 8? No.
You have to be good and lucky in this arena. Both know it's part of the contest. A lucky river card for Coleman and his mentors leave Daniel Negreanu shaking his head.
It's a fun match.
Yeah, it's been action so far. 17.
It's a crazy bluff. Guess you have king 10.
Okay, check.
11-8. Nice turn bet.
I bet just in case you had the draw. I was like, oh, I'll get him off the draw.
Yeah, that was a good bet.
Then the 8 hit, I was like, oh.
Yeah, all the draws.
The draws are gone. I don't think you have queen 10 much anymore. Maybe. People call it.
It's been a very competitive heads-up match so far. Negreanu with a slight edge over the 23-year-old Daniel Coleman, who has ace-4 of diamonds. He raises to $2.5 million. Negreanu with king-queen. And he will come along for $1.3 million more. $15.3 million to tonight's winner. The flop is 4, 8, jack, 2 spades, 1 diamond. Negreanu missed. He checks a pair of 4s for Coleman.
Coleman was going to quit poker in the summer of 2012 and go back to college, but he messed up the applications and decided to give poker another shot.
He bets $2.5 million.
Negreanu hasn't won a bracelet here in Las Vegas since 2008. His 2 bracelets last year came in World Series Asia Pacific and World Series Europe.
Turn card now. Ace is up for Coleman. Negreanu with a flush draw and a Broadway draw. He checks.
Negreanu looking for his 7th bracelet. Coleman seeking his 1st. They don't know anything, please.
Coleman now bets $7 million.
Well, Negreanu has picked up straight and flush draws. And he might even think if he hits his king or queen on the river, that might be the best hand. I don't think Negreanu's going anywhere.
Negreanu looks almost defiantly at Coleman as he reaches for his chips. Coleman nonplussed. And there is the call.
Coleman was 3rd at the 10K heads-up championship earlier at this World Series.
Coleman seemed to think, why are you calling? I'm the one with aces up. Another 4 on the river. Coleman rivers a full house.
Negreanu missed everything. Coleman's got everything. And he's going to try to get value here. But there's not a bet he can make that Negreanu can call.
Negreanu checked a 3rd time. And now up to Coleman. Can he get anything more from Negreanu? Wow, he's putting a lot of his troops together. I guess no thin value bet here. $18 million.
That's $18 million.
I guess Kid Poker's taking one last sip of water before he folds.
Coleman has been aggressive from the get-go in this hand.
Wow, you know, Daniel doesn't Hollywood. I guess he's wondering if King High could be good here.
18, right?
I guess he could figure Coleman might have like 10-9 and kept betting a straight draw.
Negreanu has been lauded for years about his ability to read his opponents. He needs to be right at this moment or he'll take a big hit.
Negreanu just with King High. Remember, Coleman called Negreanu earlier just with Queen High.
So perhaps a suspiciously large river bet from Coleman has Negreanu thinking about this.
18 million, 18 million. I don't think you have good cards. But I could be wrong.
This is as wrong as he's ever been.
Full house. Whoa! That's good. Yeah, nice.
What a play from Coleman at a critical juncture and got Negreanu to make the call.
I was not drawing dead.
I believe Negreanu's bottled water was contaminated, and that affected his read. That's the only plausible conclusion I can come to.
Thought it was good there.
What a play from Coleman. He got Negreanu to make the call and takes away over 40% of his chips. Negreanu severely out-chipped and on the ropes. The World Series of Poker Big 1-for-1 drop is dealt by the WSOP's social game on Facebook and mobile. Sit and go tournaments are starting right now. Are you in? Welcome back to the Rio. The second biggest poker tournament in history is heads up. 23-year-old Daniel Coleman has a serious edge over six-time bracelet winner Daniel Negreanu.
Negreanu's chip stack is going down, but his mood is still up.
Coleman called with Jack-10 of clubs. Negreanu with ace-6.
Same thing he did, 5.6.
Makes a raise to 5.6. Wants to play a little higher. Coleman's not going anywhere fast.
I just came up with 5.6 because you did it. I don't know if it's the right number.
No, that's the right number. It's a good number.
It didn't matter. You just called anyway. All right. Give me good cards, him nothing.
Negreanu will be out of position after the flop. The flop is 6 Jack 9. Bottom pair for Negreanu. Top pair for Coleman. Negreanu checks. Coleman has 4 million and makes it 4 million.
4.
And there's a call from Negreanu.
Pot just under 20 million as we barrel towards the turn.
Negreanu has to be careful with every chip he plays at this point. Turn card 8 of hearts gives Coleman an open ender to go with top pair.
Coleman started playing online as a teenager. He's adept at playing long sessions. I'm telling you, this guy knows nothing. He's good on his own, Daniel Coleman.
Negreanu checked, and now Coleman bets 8 million.
That's not a good card. Not a good card.
And Negreanu folds. Coleman extends his lead as Negreanu is working in the danger zone with his shrinking stack.
Negreanu sets goals for himself every year. One of those was to win 3 bracelets in 2014. That looks unlikely. Another one was to move up on the all-time list for in-the-money finishes at the World Series. He cashed 9 times and still didn't move up because Umberto Brenes cashed 10 times. Phil Hellmuth, #1 on that list, followed by Eric Seidel, Umberto Brenes, Men the Master win, and Kid Poker is 5th.
Kid Poker with ace-4. He is now the all-time tournament poker earnings leader. Second place money guaranteed. He calls for 800,000.
Rare call on the button. Negreanu trying to trap with his ace.
King-queen for Coleman. Coleman with over 100 million chips is going to raise it up to 4 million. Back to Negreanu now.
All in.
Call.
I didn't even say the words yet.
I mean, I just have to do it.
Oh, okay. You got the best hand. You said call so quick, I thought you had trips already.
Yeah, but I can't raise that big then fold.
No, I know.
Negreanu takes a lick in and keeps on ticking. Positive vibes. And now a 3-2 favorite to double up and get back into this match.
Hold one time.
It has been all Daniel Coleman lately, but now Negreanu with an opening. Here's the flop. Ace is up for Negreanu, more than he could have hoped for. A Broadway draw to add some drama for Coleman.
Always got to be outs, no matter what. I think a 4 is coming.
Turn card now. Oh, the 10 giving Coleman a straight.
4. Yeah.
Negreanu felt that blow, but picks himself back up. Positive vibes.
Negreanu needs it here.
Negreanu needs a 4 or an ace, or Daniel Coleman is the 1-drop champion.
The river card is a 7!
Good game, man. You're tough. I love the way you play.
Daniel Coleman prevails and wins $15.3 million.
What an impressive breakout performance from Daniel Coleman.
He played masterfully in this heads-up battle.
Yeah, that hand I did have king 10.
Oh, did you? I queen jack, so I was like, you don't have queens, you know?
Yeah, I didn't think you'd have a full house much.
Yeah,
Not a bad payday for Daniel Negreanu, almost $8.3 million. Daniel Coleman becomes the 2014 Big One for One Drop champ. Christoph Vogelsang third. 3 of the amateurs cashed. A nice showing for them.
Daniel Coleman's ambivalent about poker. Don't know how ambivalent he is at the moment about this massive score.
With a $15.3 million first place prize at stake, Daniel Coleman made a late surge to claim the 2014 World Series of Poker one-drop title.
I think it's really great what we were able to raise for charity. Went to a pretty worthwhile cause, getting clean water to parts of the world that just don't have that.
For Daniel Negreanu, his best intentions came up just short, but it puts him atop the all-time earnings list.
It was fun. It was such a great hand in the way that it did. It's just awesome. I mean, I didn't win it, but it was still cool to watch.
The main event comes your way in September on Sunday nights. For Norman Chad and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.